Your CPU might say 4 cores, 8 cores, 12 cores, or even more. But what does that actually mean? A CPU core is one of the main parts of a processor that does the actual work. It reads instructions, processes data, performs calculations, and sends results back to the rest of the computer. So when you open a browser, launch a game, edit a video, or load a website, your computer is not just doing magic. Behind the scenes, those actions are broken down into tiny instructions that the CPU must process. Think of a CPU core like a worker in a kitchen. If there is only one worker, that person can still cook, clean, chop vegetables, and serve food, but they have to switch between jobs one at a time. If there are more workers, more tasks can happen at the same time, as long as the kitchen is organized well. That is basically what CPU cores do. Each core can work on instructions independently, which helps your computer handle more activity without slowing down as easily. But here is the important part. One core does not equal one app. Your computer does not simply say, this core runs Chrome, this core runs Spotify, and this core runs the game. Modern apps are made of many smaller tasks. The operating system constantly decides which tasks should run, which core should handle them, and when to switch between them. So when you are gaming, listening to music, downloading a file, and chatting with friends, your CPU is really organizing thousands of tiny pieces of work in the background. A CPU core is not the whole brain of the computer. It is one worker inside the brain. The more capable those workers are, and the better the system uses them, the smoother your computer feels. Now that you know what a core is, let's talk about threads. This is where CPU specs can get confusing. You might see a processor advertised as 6 cores and 12 threads. At first, that sounds like 12 workers, but it is not. A core is the physical worker. A thread is a stream of instructions that the CPU can work on. Here is the simple version. Cores do the work. Threads are the work streams. Imagine an office worker. They're working on one task, but then they have to wait for a file to load. Instead of sitting there doing nothing, they might start preparing another task while they wait. CPU threads work in a similar way. Sometimes a CPU core has to wait for data from memory or another part of the system. With multiple threads, the core can often stay busier by switching to another stream of work instead of wasting time. That is why technologies like Intel hyperthreading and AMD simultaneous multithreading exist. They allow one physical core to handle more than one thread. But here is the catch. More threads do not mean the CPU has magically doubled in power. A 6-core, 12-thread CPU is not the same as a true 12-core CPU. The extra threads can improve efficiency, especially when the CPU would otherwise be waiting. But those threads still share the same physical core resources. That is why some tasks benefit a lot from threads and others do not. Video rendering, 3D rendering, code compiling, streaming, and heavy multitasking can often use many threads well. But some games, older programs, and simple everyday tasks may care more about a few strong cores than a huge number of threads. So when you see a CPU with a high thread count, do not automatically assume it is faster at everything. Threads help most when the software knows how to split up the work. The easiest way to remember it is this. Cores are the workers, threads are the work streams. Good software decides how many of those streams can actually be useful. Now let's clear up one of the biggest CPU misunderstandings. Physical cores and logical threads are not the same thing. A physical core is a real hardware unit inside the CPU. A logical thread, sometimes shown by the operating system as a logical processor, is a way for the CPU to handle more instruction streams. Think of a supermarket cashier. One physical core is like one real cashier. Now imagine that cashier has a second checkout lane prepared. While one customer is paying, the cashier can start getting ready for the next customer. That second lane can make the process more efficient. but it does not turn one cashier into two full cashiers. That is the difference between physical cores and logical threads. A physical core has real execution hardware that performs calculations and processes instructions. When that core supports multiple threads, those threads share many of the same resources. The benefit comes from reducing wasted time. If one thread is waiting for data, another thread may use parts of the core that would otherwise sit idle. This can improve performance, but it is not the same as adding another full core. That is why an 8-core, 16-thread CPU is usually stronger than a 4-core, 8-thread CPU, even though both use 2 threads per core. Physical cores increase real working capacity. Logical threads improve how efficiently that capacity is used. For example, if you are gaming while streaming, physical cores help divide heavy jobs like the game, background apps, and video encoding. Logical threads can help smooth things out, but they cannot create unlimited performance. So here is the rule. Physical cores are real workers. Logical threads are smarter scheduling lanes. The best CPUs use both well. Now let's talk about two terms people often mix up: parallel processing and multitasking. They sound similar, but they are not exactly the same. Parallel processing means a computer can split one big job into smaller parts and work on those parts at the same time. Think of building a house. One person could carry materials, install wiring, paint walls, and check the plans, but that would take a long time. With a team, one person can paint, another can handle wiring, another can carry materials, and another can check measurements. That is parallel processing. The job gets divided so multiple workers can make progress at the same time. In a CPU, this only works when the software can split the task into pieces. For example, video rendering can often be divided into frames or sections. That means several cores can work together and finish the job faster. But not every task works this way. Some tasks are sequential, meaning step 2 cannot begin until step 1 is finished. In that case, adding more cores does not always help much. Now, multitasking is different. Multitasking means your computer is managing many active jobs at once. You might be watching a video, downloading a file, typing a document, receiving notifications, and running background apps. The operating system acts like a traffic controller. It decides which task gets CPU time, which core should handle it, and when to switch attention. This switching happens extremely fast, so it feels like everything is happening at once. Here is the simple difference. Parallel processing is teamwork on one big job. Multitasking is coordination across many different jobs. A single-core CPU can technically multitask by switching between tasks very quickly. But a multi-core CPU can multitask much better because it has more places to put the work. That is why your computer feels smoother when it has enough cores for what you are doing. Parallel processing helps big jobs finish faster. Multitasking helps many jobs stay responsive. A fast computer needs both. Now you might be wondering, what matters more, clock speed or core count? The answer is, it depends on the job. Clock speed, usually measured in gigahertz, tells you how many cycles a CPU core runs per second. Core count tells you how many physical cores the CPU has available. Think of it like a kitchen. Clock speed is how fast one chef works. Core count is how many chefs are in the kitchen. If one dish has to be made by one chef, then having a very fast chef matters a lot. But if the restaurant has many orders at the same time, having more chefs can make a huge difference. CPUs work the same way. Some tasks depend heavily on one or a few strong cores. This is called single-core performance. Many games, basic apps, web browsing, and older programs still care a lot about strong single-core performance. Other tasks can be split across many cores. Video editing, 3D rendering, code compiling, virtualization, streaming, and heavy multitasking can benefit from more cores. But here is the trap. Clock speed is not universal across all CPUs. A 4.5 GHz CPU is not automatically faster than a 4.0 GHz CPU. Why? Because different CPU designs do different amounts of useful work per cycle. A newer CPU running at a lower clock speed can beat an older CPU running at a higher clock speed if its architecture is better. Architecture means the internal design of the processor, how it handles instructions, cache, memory, power, and efficiency. So you should not judge a CPU by gigahertz alone. And you should not judge it by core count alone either. A student who mostly browses the web, uses documents, joins video calls, and plays light games may benefit more from strong single-core speed, good battery life, and enough RAM. But a video editor, 3D artist, programmer, or streamer may save serious time with more cores. So here is the rule. Clock speed is speed per worker. Core count is the number of workers. Real performance depends on the type of work. This is one of the biggest CPU myths. More cores always means more speed. That sounds logical, but it is not always true. More cores only help when the software can actually use them. Imagine trying to read a book faster by adding more people. If the goal is to summarize the whole book, you could give each person a different chapter. Everyone reads at the same time, then shares the main points. That works. But if you are reading a mystery story where each chapter depends on the one before it, adding more readers does not help much. You still need to follow the story in order. Computer tasks work the same way. Some tasks are easy to split apart. Rendering a video, processing large files, compiling code, or running multiple virtual machines can often use many cores well. Other tasks are harder to split. Opening a small app, loading a simple web page, or running certain game logic may depend more on single-core speed, storage speed, RAM, and software optimization. That is why extra cores can sometimes sit mostly unused. It does not mean the CPU is bad. It means the workload does not need all those cores. This is also why a CPU with fewer but stronger cores can sometimes beat a CPU with more weaker cores, especially in games and everyday tasks. A well-designed 8-core CPU may perform better than an older 12-core CPU because it has better architecture, faster cores, larger cache, or better memory support. So do not think of core count like horsepower. Think of it like the number of people available for a job. If the job needs one expert, a crowd will not help much. But if the job can be divided into many independent pieces, the crowd becomes powerful. So the real question is not, how many cores does this CPU have? The better question is, can my software actually use those cores? More cores are valuable when your workload can use them. Otherwise, they are potential power, not guaranteed speed. So how many CPU cores do you actually need? The answer depends on what you do with your computer, not what looks impressive on a spec sheet. A CPU with more cores can be better, but only if your work can use them. Otherwise, you might spend extra money on cores that mostly sit unused. Think of CPU cores like seats in a vehicle. If you usually drive alone, you do not need a giant bus. But if you regularly carry a whole team, a small two-seat car becomes a problem fast. Your CPU works the same way. For basic tasks like web browsing, schoolwork, streaming, video calls, and office apps, 4 to 6 modern cores can still feel smooth, especially if the CPU has good single-core performance. For gaming, 6 to 8 strong cores is often a good range. Many modern games can use multiple cores, but they still care a lot about fast individual cores. For heavier work like video editing, 3D rendering, programming, music production, streaming while gaming, or running virtual machines, 8 to 12 cores or more can make a real difference. But here is where people make mistakes. They choose a CPU by core count alone. A newer 8-core CPU can beat an older 12-core CPU because of better architecture, faster cache, better memory support, and stronger single-core performance. So instead of asking, what CPU has the most cores, ask,
What do I actually need this computer to do? If you mostly browse, study, watch videos, and do light editing, you do not need a workstation CPU. If you export 4K videos every day, render 3D scenes, compile large projects, or stream while gaming, more cores can save serious time. And do not forget balance. Sometimes your money is better spent on more RAM, faster storage, or a better graphics card instead of extra CPU cores. So here is the simple rule. Buy enough cores for your real workload, then build a balanced system around it. The best CPU is not the one with the biggest number. It is the one that fits the job. CPU cores have changed a lot over time, and the reason is simple. Making one core faster became harder. For years, CPU companies tried to increase performance, mostly by pushing clock speeds higher and higher. But eventually, that created problems. More speed meant more heat. More heat meant more power use. And more power use made it harder to keep improving in the same way. So instead of only making one core faster, CPU designers started adding more cores. Think of it like one worker being asked to move faster and faster. At some point, that worker hits a limit. So the better solution is not just move faster, it is add more workers and give them better tools. That is how we moved from single-core CPUs to dual-core, quad-core, 6-core, 8-core, 12-core, and beyond. But the future is not just more cores forever. Modern CPUs are becoming more specialized. Some processors now use different types of cores inside the same chip. You may hear terms like performance cores and efficiency cores. Performance cores handle heavy work, like games, editing, rendering, and demanding apps. Efficiency cores handle lighter background tasks while using less power. This is especially useful in laptops, where battery life and heat matter. It is like having expert chefs for complex meals and assistant chefs for simple prep work. Not every task needs the strongest core. Sometimes, it is smarter to send small jobs to a low-power core and save energy. Future performance will not come only from adding more cores or raising clock speed. It will also come from smarter core layouts, better cache, faster memory, improved power management, and closer cooperation between CPUs, GPUs, and specialized hardware. For example, some tasks may be handled by the CPU, some may be handled by the GPU, and some may be handled by dedicated AI or media engines. So the computer is becoming less like one giant brain and more like a team of specialists. The future of CPU cores is not just about having more workers. It is about knowing which worker should handle each job. If this breakdown was useful, give it a like, subscribe for more deep dive tech content, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video.